Let's look at communication skills. Now, what is communication skills? I know you've heard this 1,000 times before. How can you define communication? How can you define communication? Anybody? Anyone? How can you define communication? All right, communication is transmission of message from the sender to the receiver. Transmission of message from the sender to the receiver. Now, the sender encodes the message and the receiver decodes the message. Now, I want you to pay attention. Look at me. Stop writing. All right? Look at me. Let's talk. Now, there are two forms of communication, right? The first one is what? Verbal communication. Thank you. And non-verbal communication. I'm not talking about written right now. I'm talking about oral communication, right? So we have verbal and non-verbal communication. Now, what is verbal communication? Raise your hand. Yes.
Communication.
Yeah, verbal communication is use of words, like what I'm doing right now. And then non-verbal communication, what is that? Yes. It has a lot to do with communicating without using words. Now, in your view, which of the two is more impactful? Is it verbal communication? Which one carries the message more? Verbal communication or non-verbal communication? Yes?
Theoretically, it's non-verbal.
Non-verbal.
Practically, it seems to be verbal.
You think it's verbal. So where do you stand? Don't give me a politically correct answer. Where do you stand?
Well, I would say words hurt.
Words hurt.
Yeah, so I would
Can't-
say words have power.
Words have power.
Yeah.
If you were to put them on the balance of scale, which one carries more weight? Which one carries the message the more?
You also need to make some
Verbal.
Yeah.
All right. There is okay. Let me say this. Let's say I've offended you, right? And I want to apologize now. Then I come to you. Then I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Will you take it?
No.
But I said I'm sorry. Why won't you take it? You see that? So in many instances, people look at how you say what you're saying. Yes, I've said I'm sorry, but is my body language confirming what I've just said? You see? So whenever you speak, even to a client, make sure that your words and your body language are in alignment. They're in alignment. This is the difference between great speakers and those that do not connect with people. Great speakers, their body language and their words, they're in alignment. One of the people that many communication scientists say he was very good when it comes to this was Bill Clinton. How many of you still remember Bill? He was the former US president, just before President Bush visited. They say that whenever he spoke, he had a near perfect body language because his words and his body language were in alignment. You could easily believe him. You know, whenever he spoke, people would even cry because he looked so sincere. But there was one moment when he lost it. Who remembers? One moment when he lost it. Do you remember the scandal that rocked his presidency? He was accused of what? Yeah, sleeping is a strong word. He was accused of having sexual relations with a White House official, Monica Lewinsky. Now he came out on TV in front of the camera trying to defend himself. And if you watch that clip, this was not the Bill that people were used to. He came out and then he said, Americans, I never had sexual relations with that woman. His body language sold him out. You know, he was a perfect man, but in this instance, he was looking elsewhere, his finger pointing elsewhere, his body language was in disarray. And Americans said this guy is guilty by simply looking at his what? At his body language. So when you speak to a client, maybe let's say face to face, make sure that your body language, is saying exactly what you want the customer to believe. When you say I'm sorry, don't say I'm sorry at the same time you're suppressing a laughter. Do you get it? When you say I'm sorry, your body language should also say you are sorry. People look at how you say what you're saying. How many of you have got small kids? How many are there? How many of you have got two? Let's say two small kids. Yeah. Now, let's say those kids of yours. If someone between them has stolen sugar, and then now you're confronting them, all of them are saying, it's not me, Daddy, it's not me. If you look at them properly, you'll be able to tell, isn't it? Who has stolen? What do you look at? The eyes. The eyes normally are the windows to the soul. You see? So you look at the body language. Look at the body language. Now I have a research here which was done at a certain university. They were looking at the body language. It's called the communication matrix. Now, what they figured out is that of everything we say, words carry 3% of the message. How many? 3% of the message. And then they figured out that the voice, tone, and pitch carries about 39%. What is pitch in speaking? Yeah, it's your voice projection. Do you know that there are some people who are gifted with a voice that if they come here and speak exactly what I'm saying, you can believe them more than you believe me. Most speakers who are great when it comes to speaking, they know how to manipulate their pitch. Personally, I believe that some of the world's greatest public speakers, you either find them in politics or in religion.